Hello, everybody. Welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. Thank you for clicking and stopping by. This is wine education. And if you are just interested in a specific topic, such as Portugal, then you can get a lot of information here about certain areas like Vinho Verde. So we are looking here at series 2 of Portugal, which is discussing the wines of the Minho, and that is Vinho Verde. Okay, we split this into 4 videos, and in this session we go through the introduction and the wine business. Parts 2, 3, and 4 are only available to those of you that subscribe to my e-learning portal over at www.winewithjimmy.com. Okay, well, let's rock and roll looking at the location of Vinho Verde to begin with. As you can see, I've highlighted it in green on that map. It's in the northwest corner of Portugal. Now, the region is surrounded by the Atlantic on the west, the River Minho, which forms the border with Spain, famous when you think about lands of Galicia and Rias Baixas, and then also by the mountains of the Peneda-Gerês National Park to the east. It extends just beyond the River Douro in the south as well, as you can see from your map. So that's our location. Now we're going to zoom in and look at its subregions for Vinho Verde. The DOC, according to WSET, covers around 16,000 hectares and is split into those 9 sub-regions. So first of all, we are just going to look at one of those, and then we'll group some of the rest together. First of all, that one highlighted in green is Mona and Melgaço. So this is located in the far north. It's slightly inland, and it is along the border of Spain. Now, this subregion produces very excellent and exquisite Alvarinho with more elegant mineral notes due to the well-draining granitic soils. It is down to the Minho River and overlooks parts of the Rias Baixas, like the Condado de Teia, for example, in Galicia. It is possibly the most famous of all the subregions. Next up, we are looking at Lima, Cardo, and Ave. So we have 3 large ones as it comes all the way down to Porto City, which is on the Atlantic at the bottom of your green section there. So these regions are closest to the coast and, of course, are much more rain affected. And they make typically very much more focused whites from Arinto, Loriero, and Trajadura, for example. You'll find pretty much rolling sort of estates and easy drinking expressions here, which certainly feed into markets like Porto City. And then we're grouping our final section together, which is pretty much our Basto, Susa, Amarante, Pava, and Bao, down in that southern section. Now, this area is much more mountainous and it leads into the Douro Valley, for example. It's also much more sunny as it sits a little bit more continentally. Thus, there are 2 harder to ripen white grapes here, Azal and Avesso, as well as a slew of rare reds, Espadero, Vinao, and the rare Padiero as well. The Veno Regional is called Minho and has an identical boundary to these DOCs in total, but the production is much smaller. So the landscape here is rather dramatic. Ownership of vines in the Vinho Verde is very fragmented. About 17,250 growers cultivate just around 1,600 hectares. So on average, every grower owns less than 1/10 of a hectare. So with this very small fragmented landscape, most growers deliver their grapes to cooperatives and large merchants. that's very, I think, sensible to do so. Now, there are only something like 400 growers who bottle their own wines. Significant producers include Anselmo Mendes and Quinta do Soliero, which you'll see two bottles of here on the right-hand side. And these are actually the Soliero vineyards in the background. Now, exports from Vinho Verde have gradually grown. In 2019, approximately 35% of production was exported. So, of course, 65% remains domestic. The key export markets by volume are Germany, the United States of America, Brazil, and France, with the United States of America leading in value of sales. Well, that brings me to a conclusion on the first video looking at the introduction and wine business. Please do join me for the next, looking at climate, soils, and vineyard management. This part, plus parts 3 and 4, are only going to be available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning portal. Details at the bottom of the slide. You'll have to go across there, subscribe for all of the extra content, including, of course, lots of written questions, flashcards, and so on. Any comments and questions, please do get in touch. You could do so by commenting on this video below. But until next time, I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Goodbye.